According to South African presidency, former leader and anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela is still in critical but stable condition. The Wednesday official statement came as South African church leaders led prayers in front of the hospital where Mandela has spent 2 months in care. After the prayers, the president of the Council of Churches, Johannes Seker, revealed that Mandela's wife has confirmed the ailing former president was responsive. The 95-year-old Mandela was rushed to the Pretoria Miti Clinic Heart Hospital on June 8 with a recurring lung infection. Mandela's health has in the meantime become a concern for South Africa's 53 million people, for whom Mandela remains a potent symbol of the struggle against decades of white minority rule. The United Nations has expressed concern over the humanitarian situation in the town of Kamango in eastern DR Congo after recent fighting sent thousands of people fleeing for safety. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs OCHA on Wednesday said thousands of people who fled attacks on the town by the Allied Democratic Forces ADF rebel need urgent aid. The Uganda-led rebel group attacked and bravely occupied Kamango in the northernmost part of Congo's volatile North Kivu province on July 11. The Congolese army, however, regains control of Kamango a day later, but the Red Cross estimated that some 66,000 people had fled to neighboring Uganda. According to the UN agency estimate, some 37,500 people remained displaced in the zone of Kamango, with the majority in the area of Nobili, close to the Uganda border. OCHA also said that some 80% of displaced families were facing hunger because they could neither have access to their crops nor buy basic food supplies from local markets. It added that these people have no access to health care, as health infrastructures have borne the brunt of the violence. International flight of resume at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport JKIA is Africa's largest airport a day after a devastating fire at the facility in Nairobi led to the cancellation or diversion of scores of flights. Kenyan officials on Thursday said that one flight had arrived from London while 2 more flights arrived from Thailand and neighboring Uganda. A statement released by Kenyan Airways CEO Titus Nakwini indicated that 9 flights will take off on Thursday. Customs and luggage are being processed through what is normally the domestic terminal because international arrivals were gutted in the 4-hour blast. The blast sent black smoke out of the main arrivals terminal. There were, however, no casualties, but Kenya Airways reported 1 member of the staff and the passenger had slight smoke inhalation and were safe in hospital for further investigation. Kenyan investigators have shifted through the debris in search of vital evidence for the cause of the blast. According to the Transport Minister Michael Kamau, investigations by security agencies have started and are ongoing, adding that there is no reason to speculate over the causes of the fire. Moroccans are holding demonstrations across the country to demand an independent judiciary after King Mohammed VI pardoned and then sought the arrest of a pedophile convicted of raping and filming his sexual assault on multiple children. The release of the 62-year-old Spanish national Daniel Galvan Finer from a Moroccan prison as part of a slew of royal pardons on the country's throne day July 30th drove thousands to the streets in the nation's capital Rabat on Friday. The protest eventually led to the pardon being repealed and Galvan being detained in Spain where he had escaped to. Protesters have descended on the streets of the kingdom's major city, including Casablanca, an industrial city in the nation's northwest, demanding transparency and accountability in the government. Organizers say angered citizens are calling for tougher laws on pedophilia and the kingdom's sex trade. In 2009, a United States diplomatic report called Morocco a source, destination and transit country for men, women and children trafficked for the purpose of forced labor and commercial and sexual exploitation. The Namibian government has said a severe drought that sparked a state of emergency in the country has left at least 400,000 people facing hunger. The government has been criticized for failing to do enough to provide relief to people during the worst dry spell to hit the countries in decades. The chairman of the Disaster Risk Management Committee, however, defended the government's performance as he announced the new figures on Tuesday. According to reports, Namibia is one of the driest countries in the world. Seasonal rains are very light and erratic at the best of times. The number of people at risk from hunger has risen from 300,000 in May when President Hifikepunye Pohamba declared a state of emergency. According to UNICEF statistics, over 778,000 people, including 109,000 children under the age of 5, are at risk of malnutrition. The dry spell has destroyed grazing land and raised concerns about the country's spectacular wildlife, which attracts vital tourist income. Russia has voiced dissatisfaction with U.S. President Barack Obama's decision to cancel its Moscow summit with President Vladimir Putin, but said it remains ready to cooperate on bilateral and international issues. Putin's foreign affairs advisor, Yuri Yushchenko, on Wednesday said Obama's decision reflected the U.S. inability to develop relations with Moscow on an equal basis. At the same time, Yushchenko said the invitation to the U.S. president to visit Moscow in September still stands and added that Russian representatives are ready to continue working together with American partners on all key issues in the bilateral and multilateral agenda. The cancellation of the summit underscores U.S. dismay over Russia's harboring of National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden, as well as disagreement on other key issues such as missile defense and Russia's human rights record. Yushchenko reiterated Kremlin's agreement that Russia had no choice but to offer asylum to Snowden in the absence of a bilateral extradition accord.